All right, welcome back to a special edition of the Ringside Podcast. We're here live with the one and only WWE Smackdown Superstar, Grayson Waller. Grayson, how you doing, buddy?
Mate, life is good right now. And what a kind-hearted soul I am. To take time. I've got a very busy day. I'm out here in Philly. I'm hanging with the Philadelphia Eagles. But I took time out of my day to come and give you the Grayson Waller rub. You know, that's the kind of guy I am.
This is
We're very blessed. Daniel, shut up for a second. Listen, I gotta let Grayson know. I gotta let you know, man. Huge appreciator of what you do. This guy here, though, hates on you all the time. He was cheering for Cena in London. He was cheering for LA Knight at NXT.
Never happened.
You got the girl. He was like, "I'm so glad LA Knight got him," and then said yes or yay or something.
Yeah, that's not
Please be as mean to him as possible.
That's not what happened. I'm very partial as a professional referee that I am. I'm very partial. I don't pick sides at all on that stuff. So
you look like a referee, lad. You didn't even have to tell me that right now. You don't even have the stripes on, but I look at you and I'm like, that's a referee right there. He ain't wrestling, but he would referee.
Yeah, absolutely.
A referee that can't count though, that's his issue.
Yeah, well, you know,
like 1-2 potato. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on the show. We really do. It's our pleasure, our blessing. Thank you so much.
Well, this feels great. That's the proper introduction. Thank you. I like the honesty. Now I know what's going on. I know the dynamic.
Well, this show is now turned into the Grayson Waller effect, right? So that's what. Anytime you come on a show, it becomes your show, right?
That's how it is. I could start asking you questions, but I couldn't really care less for you to answer anything I got to say. So luckily, I'm giving you the opportunity to ask me questions today.
Well, first, want to give a shout out to WWE Smackdown coming to the KFC Yum Center live on August 25th. Tickets available now on Ticketmaster.com. And speaking of Louisville, I got to ask this. I mean, this is a city that has such a huge, rich history of wrestling. I mean, from the developmental days with WWE, but even further back all the way into the 70s, 60s, 70s, just keep going. How does it feel when you come to a town like, you're in Philly now, so that has a rich wrestling history, but how does it feel when you come to a town like Louisville and you see the crowd and just to perform in front of a smartened up crowd, I would say, compared to other places?
I'm a wrestling historian in the sense that, growing up, I watched everything and I know everything that's happened over time. I have a lot of appreciation for the professional wrestling business, and I think it's only respectful to know the history. However, being in it now and being in WWE and being a superstar, every arena I walk in, I think it's a treat for them because it's crazy to think how many people have performed in Louisville, but Grayson Waller is going to be the biggest star that's ever walked in that place. This is a treat for Louisville. And realistically, I main evented Madison Square Garden. You think I'm going to be like, oh, wow, I'm in the Yum Center. I main evented Madison Square Garden, the most well-known arena in the entire world. I'm a big deal now. So for anything, it's I think Louisville should be appreciative that Grayson Waller's coming to town.
Absolutely. Don't you make every arena you walk in historical in some sense?
Exactly. And now I think I've got to start asking. I might be at the stage. I might need my own locker room soon. I'm sharing a locker room. There's a lot of blokes around. I might have to talk to whoever runs the Yum Center and see if we can get a little Grayson Waller room for myself.
Listen, I know some people up there. I've got my own suite at the Yum Center that we will. I invited him. I felt bad for him.
Perfect.
He's going to be in my suite for SmackDown. I'll talk to some people. I'll get back to you.
Hey, is LA Knight doing that for you? No, LA Knight ain't doing that for you. See, look, you want to talk about LA Knight?
No, he's not.
All right, so do got to ask this question because you were signed just 2 years prior here in 2021, but then you got drafted just pretty much probably right at your 2-year anniversary to WWE Smackdown. What was it like when you realized you're now going from the NXT brand to SmackDown and being on one of the premier network television on Fox? How did that feel to make that transition?
Well, I understand the huge kind of challenge that is. NXT, especially right now, is on fire. There's a lot of talented people down there who are pushing, trying to get here to the main roster. So I understood that it was an incredible challenge and that it was going to be a lot of work, but that's something that I wanted. I'm never someone who likes to be comfortable. I think some people in NXT, for example, they get comfortable. They're happy to be down there, less eyes, less stress, get paid, you're in the same place. I don't want that. I want to be challenged. And I think now being on SmackDown, especially if you look at the SmackDown roster, they talk about like some of the best rosters of all time, like that 2002 SmackDown brand. Like I think the roster SmackDown has right now is right there with it. You think of the mix of the legends, Rey Mysterio, Sheamus, Edge, and then you have guys like, unfortunately, I got to say LA Knight. You got the LWO, you got Cameron Grimes, Austin Theory. You have all these guys who are pushing to get in the position that those legends were in, never mind the bloodline, which is probably the biggest thing in wrestling for a very long time. So I understand the position I'm in and how difficult that can kind of be, but that's what I want. I want to be challenged. I want to be thrown in the water to see if I can swim, if I use like a term that Edge used recently. Like I want to feel that. And I have, but I think I'm living up to any expectation people had and probably going past that too.
And you said that and this is something that struck me very interesting. You're the biggest star that ever wrestled in Louisville, and that's saying a lot because The Rock started his journey here. Jerry Lawler started his journey here. Even Randy Savage started his journey here. I've noticed through some pictures, you sent out a tweet the other day where you're even mentoring some of the greats that are The Miz, Cody Rhodes, and you're sitting there, without a doubt. I was there at SummerSlam.
And those guys came through here as well, The Miz and Cody Rhodes.
They both did.
Yeah.
No doubt you're the reason why he beat Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. I was there. I could feel the Grayson Waller effect in Detroit. But just kind of I do have a little bit of an issue, though, man. You're wearing a Michigan jersey. And as you can see, I'm decked out in Louisville. That's who I cover for my other job, not my real job. This is a real job too. We beat them the last time we faced them in a national championship game. Can we talk you into wearing a Louisville jersey out, or can the Michigan, the yellow, just
So here's the thing. Like what I've worked out about Americans is they're very, very passionate about their teams.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a Louisville fan, for example, you're not going to rock another team's jersey. For me personally, like I have my teams, but I'm a jersey collector. I'm not a huge fan of new jerseys. I like vintage. So like when I go to a certain town, I like to rock the jersey of like someone that I kind of look up to from there. So for being in Detroit, you know, Fab Five, I love that 30 for 30. Jalen Rose had to rock the 5 Michigan. That's a fresh jersey. That doesn't mean I'm like supporting Michigan now, you know, following their team. That just means Jalen Rose is someone that I think is one hell of a player, and I like his swag, and I look up to him. So if you can find me a fresh Louisville jersey, I will 100% add that to my collection.
Absolutely. Look, I already follow you. Hit me back, and I'll get you a fresh Louisville jersey. I'll get you a game-worn Louisville jersey.
Game-worn? Oh, wow.
Okay, this is the best day ever. This is working out great for me.
That's how I roll. But so back to the question, though, the actual question, and not me being upset. I forgive you now that I hear the reasoning. Not that you care, because you're a superstar, but being a locker, that picture just gave off locker room leader vibes for somebody who has shot to the top as fast as you have, in my opinion. How does it feel to be in that position?
I think the main thing you've got to do is you can't let it get to your head. Obviously, I'm very confident in what I do, and I know I've done some big things, and I know I'm good at what I do. But also, I have to understand, like I'm new to this. There's still a lot more for me to learn, and there's some people in those backstage positions who have a lot of veteran knowledge. You got William Regal walking around. You got Michael Hayes. You have these guys who have done so much, and I'm never going to be too big to listen. I might not agree, but I'm always going to listen and take what I can get because I want to be the best. I'm not happy with where I am now, and that's not because I don't think I'm doing well. It's because I'm always progressing, always want more. So I think as any type of athlete, if you're not open to listening to the people that came before you, you're an idiot. And I think that does happen with some people where they get in a certain position and they shut off everything and they don't have to worry about what anyone's got to say. But for me personally, I'm always chatting to people who have been in the positions I want. So you talk about that photo with Cody and The Miz. Obviously, they're sitting under the learning tree of Grayson Waller, and I'm giving them some stuff. But hearing the two of them talk and watching how they get ready Cody's getting ready for a match with Brock Lesnar, like that's a different level of getting ready. So just being there and just kind of absorbing the whole experience of how they get ready and all that type of thing, that's only going to benefit me. And so that's something I'm always open to, and I've worked out from being down in NXT and having so many like legends down there that's the best course of action to progress your career.
We're here with WWE superstar Grayson Waller, and Grayson got a question. I saw that when they wanted someone to represent one of the greatest of all time, some consider the GOAT, on a TV show called Young Rock. They didn't look to anybody. They didn't look to The Miz. They didn't look to Cody Rhodes. They didn't look to anybody else in the locker room. They looked to you as being that person. How did it feel to get that opportunity? And what was it like, playing the role of, some say, the greatest of all time?
Finally, a good question, Daniel. Finally, a good question.
Yeah, that was wild. That was an opportunity. Like, the crazy thing is that opportunity kind of came in COVID too. So it was when everything had shut down. And Australia was very, very strict. So I had to sit in a hotel for 2 weeks in Queensland to even get the opportunity to go out and film for 2 days. But when they gave me the robe, like the Ric Flair robe to wear, it doesn't matter who you are. If you watch wrestling and you have the opportunity to put on a Ric Flair robe, like, that is a very, very cool experience. So that was a lot of fun. I wrestled Rocky Johnson, which I'm not sure is even a match that happened. But just getting to live his Flair for 1 day was a treat. And I got to actually meet Rick at WrestleMania at the hotel bar. Very surprising this year. And told him that I played him on the show. And he had a good laugh out of that. So it was a great experience.
Awesome. I always got to ask this, as I mentioned before, about being a referee. What is it? What's the importance to you of a referee in the middle of that wrestling ring? Like, talk a little bit about that.
Well, I hope this doesn't go out anywhere, because I don't want people hearing me say good things about anyone. But I actually said to a friend, I watch a lot of Australian wrestling still. Obviously, I have my mates back home wrestling for certain companies, and I'll always keep track of kind of what they're doing, and they'll ask me things. And one thing I said to my friend the other day is, you never know how important a good ref is until you have a bad ref. And then when you have a bad referee, all of a sudden you're like, oh, man. I think referees sometimes go underappreciated. I hate saying this in front of you. This is making me sick. Like, I'm about to vomit saying these nice things. But I think referees are very underappreciated because you never see them. And that's when they're the best. When you don't see them, you know what they're doing. That's when they're the best referees. And I've had the opportunity to get, have Charles Robinson referee one of my matches recently. And as a fan guy, like, having Charles Robinson referee a match, that's a bucket list item. That was pretty cool. And he's such a cool dude. But the referees have a very important job. Mm-hmm. But they can never do what I do, lad. There's a reason they're a referee, because they look a certain way. They can't move like me. But I do appreciate that they have a very difficult job. And I wouldn't want to do it. I did it once. When my first show I ever did in Australia, I had to referee the entire show. My referee name was Walter Matthews. So I can appreciate the difficultness, because that was not an easy night for me.
Yeah, I always think it's good for talent to experience that referee. Maybe different aspects of the world and professional wrestling, but I think it helps. My opinion, it helps the talent appreciate everything more when they do things like that, like a referee ringing the bell, whatever it may be. Those kind of little things as you're starting up and growing up. But once
you tricked me, then you tricked me. You asked that specifically because you knew what I was going to say. And you knew I was going to say nice things about you. Damn it.
I told you, Grayson. I tried to tell you. Do not
play mind games with me. I'm very frustrated right now.
I've got plenty of more questions, but I know that we don't have that much more time with the amazing. I tout myself as the one and only, but he's definitely the one and only.
One last question I want to say. Any young and upcoming talent out there that's trying to, that's just started training, whatever it may be, any advice you have for them to where they may not be able to get to your level because you are such a superstar, but to get to a level close to you, what would be your advice to them?
I've got two things. There's two things, and I tell this to I have students back home in Australia that I still kind of keep in regular contact with. The first thing is you got to be in shape. If you look at independent wrestling, you can see who takes it seriously, who's not. Because if you're getting in that ring and you look like one of the fans, then you don't want this as much as you say you do. And I know that can be a mean thing to say sometimes, but we're professional athletes. I was with the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday. Those are professional athletes. You see them walk past and you're like, oh my gosh, you must play football. You must do something, because they take what they do very seriously. So sometimes when I see wrestlers getting in the ring and they're wearing a shirt or whatever it is, and they're not in the shape that they need to be cardiovascular wise, it doesn't have to be aesthetically. I just need in shape to get in there and wrestle for 20 minutes and not be dying when you come backstage. So the first thing you do, you have to be in shape. The second thing is you need to be able to talk. I'm probably the best example of this. I broke my leg my last night in NXT. I made my transition to the main roster onto SmackDown with a broken leg. I had a boot on my first episode, but I had that opportunity because I can talk. And it's not that I can just do this naturally. Obviously, it comes to me a little bit natural, but I put effort into what I do. I put effort into being able to talk as big a game as much as I can wrestle. So if you're up and coming and you want to know how to get to this level, get to WWE, we are peak right now. We have some of the best athletes in the world coming to train at NXT now. The level has changed. If you want to get to what we do, you really have to be able to compete. So get in shape and be able to talk, and you never know where you can get. Like, I came from Australia. I'm a prime example is if you work hard and you want something, you can make it happen.
And there's been an influx of talent from Australia over the last 3 or 4 years. So it does not shock me that you are the cream of the crop. Grayson, I'll leave you with this. Daniel's an ankle biter. Did I say that right?
Ankle biter.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with that.
Okay, I was looking up. I take my job very seriously. I was looking up slang, Australian slang words last night, and the one that fit him the best was ankle biter. So I wanted to leave you that. And thank you, Daniel. I don't know if you got anything parting other than just the show, but I really do appreciate the opportunity that you've given us today.
Yeah, Grayson, thank you so much for coming on. And guys, just remember, WWE Smackdown is going to be live at the KFC Yum Center August 25th. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Grayson, again, thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome. Can you believe the tickets for this show, you can get them from like $20. You get $20 to see Grayson Waller. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that's an absolute steal. I think you're basically stealing money there. $20 to see the biggest superstar WWE has right now. And who knows what I'm going to do when I get to Louisville, you know? I'm going to have this Skyline chili some bloke talk to me about. I'm going to be ready to go. We're going to put on a show for everyone.
Don't do that. Don't eat the Skyline chili.
Mark's Feed Store.
Don't.
Mark's Feed Store. That's the one. Mark's Feed Store. There you go.
Absolutely.
Done.
Thanks, Grace. Appreciate it.